And today we continue our drive through Izu Peninsula and Shizuoka, then through to Nagoya. This is what it looks like a little bit closer up, with Izu Peninsula being our starting point for today. And again, we're lucky to see cherry blossoms given it's the middle of winter. And the big blue ocean reminded me of our other home, Australia. Pretty impressive, look at that, straight in front of us. That's huge. Imagine running down that hill. And just in front of us, hello. Hi, cheese. At the top you can get some sweet potato. Roasted sweet potato. And there's some archery training going on down there. And then you can walk around the crater as well. So there's a walk all the way around. And in the distance there, that's Oshima. It's an island. It looks quite magical. It looks like it's just rising out of the ocean. It's like a bit of a mist. You can't really see that where it meets the ocean. It just sort of pops out. And then if you continue around the Izu Peninsula, that's the coastline you'd follow. And mitada shoyu dango ka. Soy like rice balls, and then once it's covered in soy, it's lightly grilled over some charcoal. Rice ball? Mochi? Okay, mochi. Arigato sensei. Before we visit the temple, we're going to cleanse our hands over here. So I was actually surprised because the water here, they use actually water from the onsen, so it's quite warm. Haven't experienced that before. Usually it's just cold water. But because this place is famous for onsen, I guess they've used the onsen water as well. And if you've got time, this is a famous onsen in the local area. So we've just come across a very cute Mount Fuji garden. And we're going to see the real Fuji in a sec. These are really skinny roads. I'm really glad I've got a small car with a low first gear, because you need the first gear to get up a lot of these hills. This isn't just an observation tower, it actually is a massive tsunami defense gate, which can automatically close within 5 minutes of a major quake occurring. What's going on in the auctions? And it's open, yeah. So obviously this will get busy in the morning, but you can see from up here the auction's taking place. So this will actually be pretty interesting in the morning. It feels a bit weird with no one around. So that was a little bit of a letdown. All those restaurants were closed. So heading back to the car, we're gonna find hopefully a place that sells nice aji. Aji is the local speciality, it's a type of fish. Some clean public toilets. Great thing in Japan is pretty much wherever you go, you can find clean toilets. And unlike in Europe where you have to pay to use them, they're free. In the end, we've decided to come to this place called Fujita, which is Shokudo. So it's about 5 minutes away from the port. There's a couple of the restaurants here, but it's a bit further out, and often Shokudo is where you can find good food for a reasonable price. So nothing fancy, but that's how they like it. So I'm really glad we chose this place because the aji fry is amazing. Rice and kanijiru, crab miso. What have you got, Yuko? これなんだっけ? Aji tataki. Aji って英語でなんだっけ? I think it's yellowtail. We'll confirm in a sec. But yeah, I'm really glad we chose this place, Fujita. Very reasonable too. We then drove an hour to our next stop, Michi, and this is where we stayed the night. We literally parked where that truck is, and the next morning, unfortunately because of the bad weather, we didn't get that nice view. When you enter a place like this, you usually enter from the left or the right, not in the middle, because that's where gods pass through, and you take a bow. So that sound of the drums usually means the prayers are about to start. There's a couple of people in there who are about to receive some blessings by the sounds of things.
I don't think so. No, 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 no.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
And this shrine is the owner. In 1606, Shogun Tokugawa Ieyasu donated the peak to the shrine to honor its religious importance. So yes, this is in fact water from Mount Fuji. As we were walking to the museum, we just discovered this sort of river-looking area, and apparently this is where, as the samurai would ride past, they'd stop here to give their horses a drink. So this is the museum over here. So Hiroshige, he's the famous artist for making what I'm sure you'll recognize are these ukiyo-e. Remember how in our previous video we spoke about the post stations that used to exist along the Tokaido highway between Tokyo and Kyoto, a bit like the modern Michi? Well, this town used to be one of those post stations. We learnt about the influence Hiroshige had on the Japanism movement, as can be seen here with Hiroshige's work on the left and Van Gogh on the right. Same again, Hiroshige's work on the left, and now Claude Monet on the right. In Hiroshige's time, artists first created a master drawing on paper, and specialized wood carvers carved separate wooden blocks for every color in the image. One block might print the sky, another the mountains, and another the shadows or outline. Ink was then brushed onto each block by hand, and the paper was pressed layer upon layer onto the carved wood. Some famous Hiroshige prints used over a dozen separate blocks to create those sort of soft engravements of landscapes that we can see here. In a moment, we even give it a try ourselves, which is something unique that you can do at this museum. So now we're going for some lunch. Shrimps, apparently sakura shrimps. Local speciality here. So we've just found a little restaurant down by the port. We're going to check it out. Ooh, that looks amazing. And that's lunch.
Miho no Matsubara.
Miho no Matsubara. Apparently a famous line of pine trees where usually you can see Mount Fuji in the background. So this is a World Heritage Site famous for its 30,000 plus green pines that line the coast with Mount Fuji in the background. As you can see, we weren't so lucky with the weather, so we had to kind of use our imagination to picture the unobstructed views of Mount Fuji. I thought this place was just famous for its views of Mount Fuji, but Yuki quickly filled me in on the significance this place has on Japanese spirituality and traditional arts. According to legend, a local fisherman found a heavenly maiden robe hanging in the pine tree. The story became the famous North Theatre play, Hagoromo. This place also has an unexpected French connection. A memorial here honors French ballet dancer Hélène Juglaris, who became fascinated by the North Theatre of Hagoromo. Unfortunately, she passed away before she could fulfill her dream of visiting the place, so her husband buried a lock of her hair just beside that pine tree. So we're leaving Shizuoka and we're heading towards, by the looks of it, sunny Nagoya. There's some blue sky ahead. Until we see another sign, of course, this time saying Ichigo Gari. Anyway, that's where we're going to start our strawberry adventures. So these are the strawberries. Do? And then it even comes with some condensed milk. Okay, time's ticking. Got, what, 29 minutes left? Alright, time to put down the camera. Shiawase. Happiness. And I think the strawberry gods are on our side. Look at that beautiful kind of sunset coming through those mountains there. Sun rays just piercing through the clouds. Beautiful.